Part 4 of building the ultimate AI agent for my students. Rescheduling and cancellations for your AI voice agent. Now, this is going to be pretty complicated, so make sure to get your second monitor and let's go through it step by step. Real quick, I just want to show you what our agent looked like last time, which is right over here. And by the end of today, this is what's going to look like on the right over here. So as you can see, there's going to be a lot of new tools being added that's going to enable the agent to know how to do things like rescheduling and cancellation. So what do we need in order to do rescheduling and cancellation? Well, first of all, we need a way to identify the client. And the best way to do this is by using their unique phone number in a Google Sheet. So once we've created the Google Sheet with the client's information, then we can get the information from the Google Sheet in order to get their name. Now, once we have their name, we can actually greet them using their name in the first message. So that's actually really cool. And I'll show you that during the demo. And finally, once we have their name and their phone number, we can use that information to find their appointments in the Google Calendar. After we have their appointments, we can do other functions such as rescheduling or canceling easily. And finally, after we do any actions such as rescheduling and canceling, of course, we can add a Twilio node for sending SMS confirmations. So real quick, I'll just show you that in the n8n workflow. So this is what we had before. This is just for basic appointment setting. And this is what we have after. Now, as you can see, what we're doing here is we're basically adding a Google Sheet node so that once the appointment is booked, we're actually saving their name and their phone number into a Google Sheet. And that, again, that's what I said, once we save it into that Google Sheet, that's where we're going to be fetching their name and their phone number in order to do things like the rescheduling and canceling over here. So this is going to be the rescheduling route right here. We're going to find their events in the Google Calendar, then we're going to reschedule them, and then we're going to send them a SMS text confirmation. And then we're going to tell the VAPI agent that it was completed. And this bottom one is for the cancel appointment route, where we're going to do pretty much the same thing, except we're going to find the events like normal, but instead of rescheduling, we're just going to cancel it. And then we're also going to send an SMS message. So it looks complicated, but it's actually really simple. And I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do that right now. So let's start with the first thing, which is basically right here, adding the Google Sheet node so that we can put the information into a Google Sheet and then fetch it later. So actually, before we do that, we need to actually create one. Now, I've already created one here. All you need to do is go to Google Sheets and then create a new sheet. Doesn't matter what you call it. I called it Clinic Contacts. And then I didn't change the name of the sheet, so it's just called Sheet 1. Okay, so remember the name of the document is called Clinic Contacts and the sheet is Sheet 1 in my example. So let's go back over here. So in order to add the function of saving it into a Google Sheet, all you need to do is click on the plus sign in between these two. And then we're going to look for a Google Sheet node. Here it's going to be append or update row in sheet. What does that mean? Append means adding and update means updating. So in this case, we're going to be either adding if it doesn't exist, or if it does exist, then update it. So it's going to be, yep, that's correct. The document's going to be from the list and it's going to be Clinic Contacts. The sheet, as I was saying, is going to be Sheet 1. Perfect. It's going to map each column manually. That's fine. Column to match on. So here we want to pick the one that's going to be more unique. Otherwise, we're going to be picking the one that's duplicated and that's not going to be correct. So it's going to be phone because their phone number is more unique than their name. Okay. So the phone number is just going to be the code that comes from the VAPI webhook. So I don't know what it is. You just need to do some testing and then pull it over from the left side to get it here. Okay. And their name, same thing. It's going to be from the VAPI webhook and then you just plug it in. Now, I can just show you real quick because I've already done it, but the way that you would do it is you would just do a quick test and then pull the information over. But the answer is going to be this. It's just from the tool call, it's just automatically going to be there. Okay. And the same thing here, the tool call is going to collect the client name, and that's why it's going to be there. So I'm not even going to do it because I'm just going to give you this code in my school community, so you can just download that after. But I'm trying to explain to you so that you know how to figure it out and how to actually do it yourself. Okay. So that's actually just done. As you can see, it looks perfect. Now we need to do the next step, which is actually we need to remove one of our tools because last time we were using a tool called Handle Existing Client, but that tool actually doesn't do anything except for call 3 new tools. It was something like reschedule, cancel, and things like that, right? So instead of having a tool that calls other tools, it's better to just delete that tool and then add the tools individually. Like as you can see here, I've removed the handle existing, and I've instead added a couple new tools such as it's called the lookup client by phone, which is where, as you can see, we're getting the information from the Google Sheet. And then I also have 2 more routes for rescheduling and canceling the appointment. So let's go ahead and go over here. I'll show you how to do that. It's just going to be handle existing client. Just click on this trash can and it'll dump it. Okay. And like I said, we're going to add 3 more routes. So I'm just going to copy this because I already know that this is the code for getting the name of the function. So value 1, and I'm just going to create 3 routes to make it quick. So as you can see, I added 3 routes, and is equal to, it's going to be the name of the tool. So the first one's called lookup client by phone. It's got to rename the output to the same thing. Reschedule appointment. This is going to be cancel appointment. All right, that looks good. So as you can see, I've gotten rid of the handle existing client tool and I've added the 3 new routes. It is kind of messy because of that, but basically, as you can see, I'll get rid of that. There's 3 new routes, and all we need to do is add the routes for them. So here for lookup client by phone, what we're going to do, we're going to need to get the information from the Google Sheet, right? So go ahead and click on this. It's going to be from the Google Sheet. And here we need to, let's see, it's going to be getting the row in the sheet, right? Document's going to be clinic contacts. And this one's going to be sheet 1. And the filter that we're looking for is we're basically filtering for the phone number, right? Because we don't want to get all the information from the Google Sheet. We only want to get the information that is related to the caller's specific phone number. So to get that, again, you just go over here because I already built it. But it's just going to be the customer's phone number. So go over here. Column's going to be the phone number, and it's just going to be the phone number. Perfect. Now that it's done. And also we're just going to add another webhook, and the webhook basically says, I'll just open that up. Now this code for this webhook basically says, after we get the rows in the sheet, it's going to return the client's name and the client's phone number. So it's going to say, here's the client's name and here's the client's phone number. And it's going to give that back to the AI voice agent. And that's how they're going to know what the client's name is for later when they go ahead and reschedule or cancel appointments. All right, so next we can work on rescheduling appointment and canceling appointment. So as we said, all we need to do is use some Google Calendar nodes in order to get the events that are related to the person's phone number, and then add another one to either schedule or cancel. So let's go ahead and search for Google Calendar. And this one's basically going to get many events because we want to grab all of their events. So it's going to be event, get many, and the calendar is going to be this. Okay. And then here we just need to get all events that start from now to sometime in the future. So I just have some code here that's basically going to say, well, we're going to get all events that are between now and 90 days in the future. And if you need this longer or shorter, you can just change this to whatever you want. Okay. And so basically that's just going to get all their events that relate to that person. So in order to filter, we need to add an option that says query. And the point of this query is we don't really need to get every single event. We only need to get events that pertain to a certain person, right? So here we would just add the code that pertains to the person's phone number. So I'm just going to get that from my example over here. As you can see, here's the code that basically grabs the customer's number from the VAPI webhook. So paste that, come over here and do that. Okay. All right, so once that's done, all we need to do is add another Google Calendar node. This one's going to be responsible for rescheduling or updating the event. So go ahead and type in Google Calendar. And here you can say it's giving us an option to update the event. So that's exactly what we want. Just choose your calendar. And here it's asking for the event ID. So actually in our previous node, that's where we were fetching many different event IDs, right? So all we need to do is get some code that will result in the event ID that we fetched in the last option. So that code is basically going to be equal to this, where we're basically just finding the event to reschedule. And then we're using the JSON just means the last node. And then ID means the ID. So we're getting the code, we're getting the IDs from the last node in order to pass into this node. Okay. So it's going to be this. And then here we're updating the fields because we need to pick a new end date and a start date, right? So it's just going to be start date. Now the start date is going to be the information that we get in the new tool call. So when we're rescheduling, we're going to be asking the client what time is going to be your new start time. Okay. And then depending on how long our meeting is, we're just going to add 15 minutes or 30 minutes to that in order to calculate the end time. So the start time is just going to be something that looks like this. Make sure you click expression so that it actually pastes correctly. So this is going to be the new start time is what I need actually. So new start time here. All right. And then we're going to get the new end time. Perfect. So we're just going to add another field. This one's going to be called end. And we're just going to paste that in. Oh, make sure to click expression. Otherwise, it won't let you use code. Okay. Perfect. So that's done. And then next, we just need to create a Twilio node so that we're sending the confirmation. So I'm going to click another add. We're going to add a Twilio node. It's going to be send an SMS. Choose your credential, enter in your phone number. 2 is going to be some code for the customer's number. And then the message is going to be some code that I wrote, but basically it looks like this. And it's basically saying that, well, in this case, let's just say, Anthony, this is a confirmation that your appointment with the Glow Clinic has been successfully rescheduled for whatever new time. And that's it. So Anthony, this is a confirmation that your appointment with the Glow Clinic has been successfully rescheduled for Friday, August 15th or whatever it is. Okay. So that's pretty simple. I'm not even going to fill it out from now because I know that you guys know how to do that. So let's just go ahead and finish the cancel appointment route real quick. So again, it's just going to be 2 Google Calendars. Honestly, we could just copy this because it's literally the exact same thing. So go over here and here we're going to add one that is called another Google Calendar. But the point here is instead of updating an event, since we need to cancel the appointment, it's going to be deleting the event. But the setup's literally the exact same thing. We're just going to get the event ID using that code from the previous node and just pass that in. And that's basically it. And we're just going to be deleting it. So that's fine. Let's check that real quick. Yeah, we don't need to add any additional options because all we're doing is deleting it. Perfect. And again, we're just going to add a Twilio. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it over here. The only important thing here is just knowing the code here that basically results in what you want it to say. So in here it's saying, Anthony, this is a confirmation that your appointment with the Glow Clinic has been successfully canceled. If you need to rebook, please call us back at any time. So that's also pretty simple. If you have the code here, you'll be able to get that. Okay. So that's it. And then obviously we're just going to add some more webhooks here in order to push some information back to the AI voice agent so that it knows how everything went. But usually it's going to be a successful interaction, which is why we just have one. If during your testing you figure out that it's failing often, then obviously you would have to add another one that is responsible for the failure. But for now, for simplicity, we'll just have one for each. Okay. So that is it. Now this is all done, like I said earlier. So I'll just get rid of this. And we'll just use this for actual testing. So make sure to hit save and set it to active. And I'm just going to get the production URL. Well, it actually looks like it's the exact same thing, so I don't need to change it. So now, once we're done with the n8n workflow, go ahead and go back to VAPI. And this is where we're going to be making the changes to the tools. Then we're going to need to give the tools to the assistant. Then we need to update the system prompt so that it knows how to use the new tools. Okay. So go ahead and go over to tools and we're going to delete the handle existing client tool because as I said earlier, we don't need a tool that calls 3 other tools. Let's just get rid of it and add the 3 tools. So delete tool, we're going to create a new custom tool. This one's going to be called lookup client by phone. And as you know, the easiest way to do this is to just get the code from my school community. But if you're wondering how I write this stuff, it's just using logic, honestly. So I'll just show you real quick. So apply. uncheck this to check what it looks like when using no code. So remember what I said earlier is when we're looking at the client by phone, we're basically looking for a way to identify the client. And what's the best way to identify the client? Well, we could use things like email. We could use things like phone number. We could use things like their birthday, social security number, stuff like that, right? But obviously the easiest one out of those is going to be the phone number because we're already getting that from VAPI. And if we use things like a name, it can get that wrong or it can get the name of somebody else and that's just going to mess it up. Email is not going to be great because it's just really long. Social security or birthday, that's personal information. So we want to stay away from that as much as possible. So here, as you can see, we're just getting the identifying information for the client, which is going to be their 10-digit phone number. Okay, so that's perfect. All right, go ahead and hit save. Then we're going to create some more tools. This one's going to be called Reschedule Appointment. So let's get the tool, get the code over here. Control A, Control C, Control V, apply, uncheck. So here, client name is actually already going to be fetched when we use the lookup client by phone tool. So it's actually not going to need to ask for the client's name a second time, which is really nice for reducing friction. And, again, we're trying to make it as human as possible. If we already have their name, we don't need to ask for their name again. So next, we're going to ask them for a new start date and time, which makes sense because they're going to be like, okay, well, my last appointment was at August 10th, but I need to change it to sometime in the future. Let's just say August 15th. So that's how we're going to get that's how we're going to get the new start date and time. Perfect. Let's show you the code for that real quick. It's just literally the same exact thing as the book appointment tool that we used earlier. So, and then as I said earlier, the new date and time is just going to be literally some math that the AI agent is going to do on their own. It's just going to be equal to the meeting duration. So in this case, 15 minutes. Okay. So go ahead and save. Custom tool is going to be, let's go back over here, cancel appointment. So cancel appointment. Parameters. Perfect. So here, all we need to do is get the client name. And again, we already have the client name from the lookup client by phone. But the reason why we need this in this tool call is because if we go back over to n8n, you'll be able to see that in this route, well, basically we're going to pass the information here, right? And then it's going to go over here and it's going to route to the cancel appointment. And then once we go over here, what information do we need in order to find the client's information? Well, it's going to need their phone number and it's going to need their name, right? So actually it doesn't even look like we need their name, which is fine. It doesn't matter because all we really need is we need to route it down here and then it'll handle it by itself because apparently it already has the customer's number, but we don't even need their name. But like I said, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's fine. So save. Now remember, we currently have not entered anything for the server URL, so we can just grab that from our other tools and paste that right in. So get that, and then server URL, paste. Make sure it saves. Perfect. So now that that is done, go ahead and go over to our assistants. Scroll down to the tools tab. And here we're just going to hit select all. And that's going to give it all of our tools. Now, I did do some testing previously and then I deleted the tools. And when you do that, that's when it does something like this. It basically just gets rid of the name and it just leaves the ID. So all you need to do is just uncheck that. And as you can see, it goes away. So yeah, so let's just do a quick check. And it's got the three tools that we had before. And then it now has the 3 new tools that we just created. So that looks perfect. Publish to save. All right, so really the last thing that there's left to do is to update the system prompt in order to work with the information that we just passed it. So as you probably know, the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to copy and I'm going to go to my favorite AI. I'll just create a new chat. Temperature is going to be whatever. And the easiest way to do this is just copy all the code from your tools and also copy the workflow from n8n. So go to here and then just hit download and they'll give you that code and then go back over to your LLM and just give it all to it and then write a nice prompt to give you the assistant prompt. So let's see, it's going to be the workflow JSON, the tool JSON. So 1, 2, 3. And this is, I've already written it, so I'm not going to give it that, but basically what you would do is you would get these 4, you would put it in here and you'd be something like, I have attached the workflow JSON and tool JSON for my VAPI AI voice agent. Using this, give me the assistant prompt that would handle the correct conversation flow. Okay, something like that. And then you would hit run. Obviously, you would have to check it and make sure that everything's correct. But I've already done it, and the result that I got was this. So I'll show you there real quick. The result that I got looks like this, and really all it's saying is that as soon as the conversation starts, we're going to be calling the lookup client by phone tool. And the reason for that is we need to get the information from the Google Sheet to see if it's an existing client or not. And if it's an existing client, we can actually say something like, "Thank you for calling the Glow Clinic. Is this Anthony?" Right? And that's a cool way to just show the other person that we're already on top of things and we're, you know, completely proactive. And if it's not an existing client, then we'll just say something normal like, "Thank you for calling the Glow Clinic. This is Chloe. How may I help you today?" Okay. And then based on what they say after that is when we kind of like split into the two different routes. If it's a new client, then we say, "Okay, well, what treatment are you looking for? Have you had that treatment before?" And we basically just go through that flow. It's pretty simple. And if it's an existing client, we can say something like, "Okay, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to book a new appointment? Do you want to reschedule or do you want to cancel?" And then based on each of those, we're just going to use a different tool. Like I said earlier in N8n, we're just going to use a different tool and that's going to allow us to do whatever it is that we need to do. So it should be making a lot of sense now. It should be pretty simple. If you have any questions, make sure you do ask and I'll make sure you get the help that you need. So, all right, cool. So that's done. All right, so let's see. Just make sure that this is actually pasted in correctly. So yeah, you were Chloe. Proactive recognition, the lookup client by phone. So that was great. Yeah, we're gonna look up client by phone. Going to look at the new client journey. Yeah. Check availability, that's correct. If you want to book a new appointment, go ahead and use the check availability and book, that's correct. If they want to reschedule, yeah, perfect. It's going to ask them for a new time, new start time, and then it's going to calculate that. Perfect. And if they need to cancel, it's just going to call the cancel appointment tool and it's going to cancel them. So it's extremely robust. And I've already tested it once and it already worked. So I'm just going to do that right now and just show you that it works. So remember, before you actually test, you just need to make sure that everything's set up correctly. So it's something like make sure your assistant prompt is written, make sure you go down to the tools to make sure that it's passed to the assistant, then go over to your tools and make sure that each of your tools has the right webhook that you got from N8n. So I'm just going to do that right now. Yep. It's like it's all hooked up. They should all still be the same. Perfect. All right. And finally, you need to go to phone numbers and make sure that you have your correct phone number. And then scroll down to assistant and make sure that the assistant is passed into the inbound phone number. Okay. And finally, go back to N8n, make sure that you have saved the workflow and then make sure you set it to active. And that's all you need to do. And now we are ready to call and test. So actually, let's go over and check out our calendar. So right now I have an appointment at 10 a.m. Okay. So I'm going to ask it to reschedule to another day. Um, I'll ask it to reschedule to something like 12 p.m. Okay. And then we can see that and I'll ask it to cancel it and we'll hopefully see that as well. So let's get started.
Thank you for calling the Glow Clinic. Is this Anthony?
Yep.
Welcome back, Anthony. How can I help you today? Are you looking to book a new appointment, or do you need to reschedule or cancel your upcoming one?
Yeah. I'd like to reschedule my appointment.
I can certainly help with that. What new day and time would you like to move your appointment to?
Yeah. I'd like to move it a little later on Monday.
Certainly, I can help move it later on Monday. What time on Monday would you prefer? Please give a specific time, e.g., 3:15 p.m.
Sure. Yeah. I would like to move it to 12 p.m.
I'll bet your appointment has been successfully rescheduled for August 18th, 2025 at 12 p.m. You'll receive an updated confirmation text shortly. Goodbye.
Perfect. Hey, wait. So actually, I want to cancel that appointment completely.
I can help with that. Are you sure you'd like to cancel your upcoming appointment?
Yes, I am sure.
Okay, your appointment has been successfully canceled. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call back. Goodbye.
Sure, bye. Wow, that was amazing. So I actually haven't tested that cancellation. I only tested rescheduling. And as you can see, both were working, right? You saw that it changed the time correctly. And then when I told it to cancel, it just canceled it. So like as you can see, this is working very, very well. So yeah, everything's working. So yeah, if you need that information, go ahead and go to my school community. It's right here. We're already at 37 members. It's pretty crazy, but basically just go to the YouTube section and then go ahead and click on the post that I'm going to make and download all those files and you'll be able to do exactly what I just did. So, and also if you have any questions, make sure you go to the one-on-one support tab. I'll give you all the help that you need. Make sure that you're all good to go. Okay. So yeah, if you like that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We still have, let's see, how many more parts? We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more parts to this course. So there's still a lot to learn and it's going to get pretty exciting because as you can see, we've added plenty of really amazing features. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I hope you have a great one. All right. See you in the next video.